Hey everybody, thank you so much for listening to Real Pineapples tonight. This is Hunter here, and I'm here with Scott. Scott, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm always good when I'm talking to you, Hunter. How are you doing?
Oh, you charmer, you. You know, I'm very curious to get your thoughts on this movie we're about to talk about. We're talking about Atomic Blonde, and I believe it was actually just me and you, I believe, who reviewed the trailer, or the first trailer for it, and we said, hey, this looks awesome. It's from David Leitch, who went ahead and did John Wick and John Wick Chapter 2. I believe he was actually director on the first one, producer on the second. Yeah. So he was a producer and director on the first John Wick, producer on Chapter 2. He directed Atomic Blonde, and he's directing Deadpool 2. So he's, yeah. So, I mean, as far as directing, producing, he's doing pretty well for himself. I gotta be honest with you, Scott, this might be my biggest disappointment of the summer, to be totally honest with you. I was bummed walking out of the theater. I was like, damn, I wanted to love this, and yeah, I don't know, I didn't love it. Kind of your quick thoughts on this?
Coming into it, definitely high expectations.
Yeah.
I think what we see in the trailer is, I don't know. I guess it kind of showed more than I was expecting. We could talk about that in a little bit more detail later, but just based on the trailer and like the way they put it together, they did a hell of a job, and it looked exciting and action packed, and who doesn't like Charlize Theron just kicking ass, and like James McAvoy. I was like, this is gonna be a killer team here. But yeah, going into it, I would say I had pretty high expectations for sure.
Yeah, I really did have big expectations. I mean, come on, God, just that one lesbian scene. I was like, come on, get that right. But no, but let's just kind of jump in here. So Charlize Theron plays Lorraine Broughton. I think they only say her name a couple times. They don't really throw names out a lot in here.
No, the more code names, and like
yeah,
they don't even say people's names in general.
Yeah, exactly. But but basically she works for MI6, and she's basically ordered. She's supposed to work with this guy named David Percival, who James McAvoy, probably my biggest man crush outside of you, Scott. So yeah, so basically, I'll be honest with you too. Did this plot just feel like it had like 30 different endings and twists and shit? I was sitting there watching. I was like, it shouldn't be this difficult for me to follow this, and I found it really difficult to follow.
Yeah, I would agree, but that's kind of how a spy movie is, right? So you've got like this clusterfuck of action and events that happen early on, and then as the movie goes on, it's like it becomes more and more clear who is who, what side are they working for, like who is this movie is about Lorraine, who basically is sent undercover to try to discover who this rat is in the organization. So there's like the double agent thing, right? Who can you trust nobody, which I think might have been my biggest gripe on it, is the predictability. Now I know that like it's kind of a jumbled mess at the beginning, when you're kind of trying to find out who is who, but I think that they play by a lot of the same scripts and game plans as like, the Bourne series, or you have a lot of close like hand-to-hand combat, which is awesome. I love the action scenes in this. I love the way that like Lorraine's character is just whooping ass and can just take down. At one point, she's like in a room with like on a floor with like 10 other guys, and she just takes them out solo. I think in general, the cinematography in this is great as well. It's very noir, in a way that they don't necessarily commit to. Like, no, it's sort of like a half and half, like of Lorraine smoking, or like a look, or like the hair plays into it. It's definitely like a stylistic movie, so to speak, where it's set in 1989, so they've got like the look and the music and the soundtrack, which I felt like could have been better at parts.
So
the soundtrack was good to me though.
If I can jump in here, I thought the biggest complaint, or one of the biggest complaints for me, was the soundtrack. The way that there was no subtlety to it at all. I mean, we talk about something like Guardians and Baby Driver, how the music really elevates that. Mm-hmm. I thought this movie basically beat you over the head with a sledgehammer, saying, "We're in the '80s, we're in the '80s,
right.
We're in the '80s."
Totally.
I'm like, God damn it! Yes, I get it, and a lot of that has to go on Kurt Johnstad, who his screenwriting credits are not great. He did 300, which
everyone knows you hate 300.
Yeah, I do. He did Act of Valor, which was dog shit. I don't remember if you remember that.
I didn't see that one.
I could swear.
Was that with John Cena? Was John Cena?
No. That Act of Valor. That's the one I remember where it's like a first person. It's like Call of Duty, but it's with real life soldiers. Remember that one?
Okay. Yeah, I do. That wasn't okay. Yeah. But that wasn't with Gerard Butler, was it?
No, we saw that. We were.
What was that one with Gerard Butler? He was playing like the RPG.
Gamer. That's what.
Gamer. Thank you.
Yeah. He was also screenwriter of Man of Steel, which again, and then he was a screenwriter on probably his best movie, 300: Rise of an Empire, which Colin notoriously fucking hates, and I actually saw about 6 months ago, and it's really bad. So, not the best screenwriting record for this dude, and I think what really separates this from John Wick. Look, the action in this is very well done, and I think something that really helps with the movie is that you see Charlize Theron, and I've pointed this out for years, and it seems like people are now just starting to go, oh yeah, that's true. If you have a female character getting beat down, it's like it's almost like on Space Ghost Coast to Coast when Zorak would get blasted, like they would cut away and cut back and he's fine. That happens in every female action. I realize it's a very random reference, but Space Ghost, I love that show. But it's true though, with female action movies, they get hurt, the next scene they're fine, and she takes a ridiculous amount of damage in this movie. Her face is fucked up. I think the first scene you really see with her is her in a bath, and she's in an ice bath, and I went, oh god, and you just see her, just all the bruises and everything. It's like, damn, okay, she's a spy. And kudos to Charlize Theron. I watched some of her training, and she really took this shit seriously. And of course, Mad Max Fury Road, I think she's an incredible actress, and was the best thing about that last really derp Fast and Furious movie we got earlier this year. She's fantastic in this. She really is, and in pretty much everything I see her in, she's really great. I think the biggest problem is that this movie takes so long to get going for me. I felt like it took about half hour, almost 45 minutes for me to kind of go, it's really when the stairwell action scene happens that the movie kind of finally starts to find its footing. I think the lesbian scene's right before that, which, is awesome. But
you were waiting for that one.
Oh, dude. Oh, absolutely. Like, the thing is, though, I mean, it's maybe a 2-minute scene, like 3 minutes tops, and it's actually pretty tastefully done. I mean,
right? It wasn't like they weren't. It wasn't just like a cutaway to them just going at it. Like it was part of the story.
Yeah, it's not like they're full on like fisting each other. They don't like that. I mean, which I would have preferred.
As much as you would have loved that.
I know that's what I was waiting for. I was like, God, I got fucking gypped. Worth $8.50 my ass, but honestly though, it's tastefully done, and I did laugh because the girl who plays Delphine, who's the other agent that she forms a relationship, that's Sophia Boutella, who was just in The Mummy, and I thought was good, and it just gave her nothing to goddamn do. She was oh god, what's her name? Jaya from Star Trek Beyond, the girl with the white face with the kind of tribal paint, the one that worked with Simon Pegg a bunch.
Yep.
Yeah, her, and then she was in Kingsman. She was the girl who walked on the knives or whatever. I think she's a really good actress. I would like to see her in more good shit, and I thought she was really actually quite good in this. John Goodman is in here, continuing his. I love John Goodman.
He's on a rampage.
No, I love John Goodman when he's not starring in the thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
which I feel like is every movie, right? I feel like when's the last movie that he's starred in? Oh, okay. What? Well, Cloverfield. I guess.
Yeah, to Cloverfield, then kinda.
He kind of co-starred, really. I guess.
Yeah, true, but. I don't want to see another King Ralph, like,
right? But I feel like that's his role, though. He's the grizzled vet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially since he grew a beard. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go with this thing, and I'm gonna have a beard in every movie that I'm in from now on.
He was one of the few things I actually liked. He was actually, I think, the only thing besides Mary Elizabeth Winstead that I liked about The Gambler. I think he was the one other thing I liked.
Well, definitely wasn't Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, because God damn sure wasn't Mark Wahlberg. But and he was in Kong Skull Island. I actually liked him in that.
Remember how Wahlberg like pretended to be like really smart?
God,
he was like that's the only like that was such an unbelievable role for him.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg. Hey, I'm gonna teach you guys about literature. The fuck you are. Goddamn.
Turns out I'm the best gambler that ever lived because I'm such a fucking mathematician.
It's like, God, it's terrible. Okay, anyways, but with that said, though, I mean, he was really good in this. And then I love Toby Jones, who, of course, was in Captain America.
Toby Jones is excellent. I was going to bring him up. I feel like he's such a great, like, not even villain, but, like, yes, villain. But, like, he wasn't even a villain in this, just one of those creepy dudes that, like, just, he always, like, can, I don't know, he always creeps me out.
Yeah, he was in
the best way possible.
He was in this past season of Sherlock, and I loved him on there. So Toby Jones is really wonderful. Pretty much in everything he's fucking in. Zola is who I was thinking of. I should know that. I should know off the top of my head. God. Bad nerd. But yeah, I mean, this movie's 2 hours, and oh yeah, I gotta bring up my boy James McAvoy. Here's the thing, I love James McAvoy and I really liked him in this, but if you are at any way surprised as to what happens with his character, this is maybe your first movie you've ever watched, because it's not really hard to guess where his character ends up.
Super disappointing, right?
Yeah. I thought they would have more to do than where they end with, end with things. And I went, oh, wow, that's exactly what I thought you wouldn't do because it was so obvious. So, pretty dumb. But yeah, I mean, the action scenes are really good. There's a scene where she uses her pump. It just hits this dude in the face, and then hits the driver, and then uses her seatbelt and crashes the car. I went, God damn. I mean, that was great. The stairwell scene is fantastic. That's one of my favorite action scenes I've seen probably this year. And then the action scene with her in her hotel is actually really well done too. So there's some stuff to like here, and I think Charlize Theron and James McAvoy, when it's just the two of them together and there's not other actors distracting, I think their chemistry is really good. And I thought Sophia Boutella and Charlize Theron's chemistry was really good. But this tries to get too cute. is its biggest problem. John Wick was so straightforward. They killed his dog. Fuck you. I'm gonna just start killing all of you. I mean, if they do an Atomic Blonde 2, her rabbit gets killed or whatever, and she's on the warpath. I just thought it was okay with some good moments. So, kind of wrapping up here for me. I don't think I can even get. I don't think. Oh God, I'm really torn on my grade. To be totally honest, I'm sitting here thinking about it.
You want me to give you a minute? You want me?
No. I gotta commit. I'm gonna go the lowest B- I may have ever given on this podcast. It is so close to C+, but I think that the action scenes warrant seeing it on the big screen. Mm-hmm. So that's really the only reason I'm gonna give it a B-, but it's the lowest B-. I mean, if you can see this at an early matinee or like a Cinemark here, they do $5 movie Tuesdays. Do that. It's good, disappointing, but not great. So So, Scott, your final thoughts and your grade, sir.
Basically, I think that it's just a dolled up spy movie that you have probably seen before, and one that's a little more predictable than you're used to seeing these days. I feel like, I don't know, like it didn't really leave a whole lot to the imagination. The whole thing is set to Lorraine in this debriefing with the CIA and MI6, and she's recounting her story of what happened. So like, I just felt like I had seen a lot of those scenes before, and I know it sounds like I'm about to say some bad things about this movie, but I did enjoy it. I just felt like the plot kind of fell off. It was very unpredictable. I mean, they make some assertions. We'll try not to get too much into spoilers, but they make some assertions about James McAvoy's character, and who he's involved with or not involved with, and I feel like it was alluded to the entire movie, and it ended up being what you thought it was going to be. I just don't like that in a spy thriller. I don't like. I feel like you at least want to throw a few twists and turns in there. Make it about. I mean, I feel like like I can watch a Special Victims Unit episode and be like, oh shit, it was the Catholic priest. What? That's crazy. I would never expected that. I know that sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but I'm being serious. Like, I don't know. I wanted a little bit more. Definitely not out of the action side, because it delivered, and I think in the right circumstances it works with this whole kind of 80s style noir setting, because she's a complete badass, and it's hard to avoid that.
True.
And the way that she can like take out a room full of armed men is pretty awesome. The way they do it in a way where it's not completely unbelievable either. And like you said, she looks beat up through this entire thing. I think the music hit or miss. I like the action, but there's a twist at the end that I feel like they just throw in there at the very end. I think they realized how it played out, and you're like, know what? Let's just throw this in there really quick, and then people will be like, oh shit, oh no. Which I was writing kind of my final thoughts as I was finishing up this movie, and I was like, wow, that was super predictable. I can't believe they went with that way. And then they kind of did that thing at the end, and then and I was like, well, you know what? I still don't buy it. So, but I liked it. So my grade is, I gave it a B+.
B+. Okay. Hey, fair enough.
Charlize Theron in most things is awesome. I can't deny that. And James McAvoy is like, his average is better than most. So even in an average performance, I wasn't disappointed. So yeah, B+.
Fair enough. No, like I said, I was just expecting more, and I think John Wick Chapter 2 being as good, as much, just loving it as much as I do, it might be in my top 10, but loving it as much as I did, and this just falling short of it, it definitely did hurt the movie, because it just wasn't even in the same stratosphere, and I kind of understood that, but I thought that even for the expectations I had, you know, because it's a girl starring in it, but I'm kidding, but I just thought the bar, it just didn't even meet the bar I kind of had for it, which was high, but not unattainable, so, you know, but anyways, guys, let us know what you thought of Atomic Blonde. Follow us here on SoundCloud at The Real Pineapple 775. Follow us on Podbean at The Real Pineapple. And find us now on iTunes at The Real Pineapple. Go ahead and give us a star rating. Let us know what you're thinking of the show. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Bud Collin on Twitter at The Real, REEL O'Neill. And you can follow Mr. Scott here on Twitter at
Newman the First.
And guys, like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll have reviews up this weekend for Stranger Things Season 1, which I know Scott's excited about because he loves Stranger Things. We'll have a review up as well for The Dark Tower and a review up as well for Detroit. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.